man, that is some bad eczema there. Huh. Outbreak. Oh well. Okay, so today's video is about how to lose weight running. You can definitely lose weight running. Any exercise that you burn calories, you can lose weight in. So running, I'm just gonna give you a couple tips that are gonna help you lose weight if you're not losing weight already running, or if you're thinking about starting running, definitely follow these tips and you will be losing weight. So let's get into it. The first tip I have for losing weight running is to run consistently. So what that doesn't mean is to go out every day and push yourself super hard. It actually means the opposite of that. Make sure you're always playing it safe and trying to minimize the chance of injury, because if you go out there, yeah, it's great to go out and run for 2 weeks really hard and push yourself every day. You're gonna burn a lot of calories in those 2 weeks, but if you just get hurt after 2 weeks, you're just gonna be laid up in bed or back on the couch putting on the pounds again. So what you want to do is maybe start off a little bit slower and just make sure you're playing it safe, lowering the chance of injury so you can consistently keep burning calories from running. It's something that a lot of people screw up on when they first start running, because you can definitely get hurt running at the start because you don't have any of the muscles and tendons built up to reduce the impact of running. So start off nice and easy. Don't go out crazy and and hurt yourself. The second thing that you got to focus on is eating well. I mean, should be a no-brainer, but if you're eating bad right now, and chances are if you're finding right now that you're gaining weight every year over and over and over, chances are you have bad eating habits. So one of the big things that you'll notice, especially if you look at, like, say, marathoners, sometimes you'll see really, really skinny marathoners that are in really great shape, and other times you'll see marathoners that are still overweight. And the reason for that is that chances are these people have bad eating habits. And if you never address the eating habit, when you start running or when you start exercising in general, you're just gonna want to eat more of the bad food, because you're gonna have cravings that are crazy. You're gonna come in from a run that you just burned 1,000 calories, you're gonna be starving. And if you don't have great habits built up to eat something, healthy, you're just gonna eat whatever you used to eat, but then maybe 3-4 times the size of it. So here are some quick little tips about what types of things you should avoid and what type of things you should go for. It's just some general rules, but try to minimize or avoid pop if you can, deep fried food. Try to minimize or avoid excessive simple sugars and also excessive fat. So for simple sugars, that would be like pop and candy and stuff like that, and then even chocolate bars, which are very high in sugar. And then when it comes to fat, that's gonna be like deep fried food. I'm not saying don't eat it at all, but minimize it. So deep fried food, fatty meats and stuff like that, and even dairy is also quite fatty. I know a lot of people like to eat a lot of stuff like that, but if you're focusing on pure health, you really got to look at both sides of the tables here and look at simple sugars and fats. At the end of the day, both of those foods are very high calorie dense, which means by the time that your stomach realizes it's full, you've eaten way too many calories. So I would say minimize both of those things, and then just basically bump up the number of fruit and vegetables that you're eating. It's really simple advice, but if you, like for me, one of the things that I ended up doing was for all of my snacks, I always snacked on fruit. It just became a simple thing. So instead of granola bars or cookies or things like that, chips, I switched right to fruit all the time. It just became like a no-brainer habit of mine. But you don't have to go maybe that extreme, but just understand, when in doubt, eat more fruits and vegetables and try to lower simple processed sugars and excessive fat. And keep in mind, this is what works for me. If you're finding that there's something that's working for you, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not trying to preach a certain specific diet or anything. I'm just trying to give some general guidelines that work for me. The next thing is interval training or HIIT workouts. There was like a lot of things going on a couple years ago about that, about how running slow, steady runs weren't good for losing weight. That's actually not true. You're actually burning a lot of calories. And there were some studies showing that doing interval training or HIIT workouts were gonna allow you to burn more calories. Now, that is technically true. You're gonna burn more calories in the amount of time doing interval training. But the problem is, it goes back to the first problem, which is consistency and trying to avoid injury. If you're doing interval training every single day, that's gonna wear you down way too much, because it's just gonna be way too intense. It's gonna be putting way too much pressure and stress on all your body. So you wanna try to minimize that. So what you should be doing is mixing up between the two, because you don't really want your body to get an understanding of what you're doing. So doing low, easy pace, long runs, and also doing maybe 1 or 2 sessions of interval training during the week is definitely a great way to do it. But at the end of the day, you should make the majority of your runs slow pace, because that's just going to allow you to keep burning the calories without the risk of injury, and then just have those 1 or 2 days a week where you can then pick up the pace, burn, yeah, you'll burn more calories, but you're not going to be, you know, overdoing it and getting yourself hurt. And on top of the whole interval training thing is that you need to make sure that you're actually built up. So if you're a new runner, scratch the whole interval training running thing right now, because you're just going to get hurt. What you need to do, sad as it sounds, what you need to do is you need to get a base. So what a base means is you basically do all of your running at an easy pace, and you build up all the strength between your muscles, your tendons, everything. It just slowly builds up, and you would do that for roughly 8 weeks. So 8 weeks of running, you can run maybe 3-4 times a week, everything easy pace. Once you get to 8 weeks, then you can start still doing about 80% of your runs at easy pace, but then for 20% of your runs, then you can start implementing some speed work into your training. And I think if you follow this advice, it's going to help you lose weight. If it does, if there's other things that you do, let me know down below. I'd love to hear what those things are, what's working for you. These are just the things that are working for me. So thanks a lot for watching, and keep going after those goals.